Hello, can y'all hear
Why?
me?
Why does this happen to me?
What happened?
Why? It kicked me out. I don't know.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
It totally kicked me out. So, hi guys, welcome to our weekly show here at the Teacher Blab Show. We're so super excited to be with you this week. If you are in the comments, let us know you're here. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and just say hello, ladies. How are you?
Hi.
Hi. Everybody, take a deep breath. It's been a week. It's been a week.
Lots of new info.
I know, lots of new info that's come out. We are down, we are a man down, which I'm not going to say a man. We are a woman down this week. About 2 o'clock this afternoon, Carlonda got a message that she had a staff meeting for her new school tonight at the exact time as the show. So she was like, no, but it's something to do, I believe, with the diversity and integrity team. I can't remember the exact word she calls, but very important meeting. So she's not going to be here with us tonight. All of our love goes out to her. Ladies, have you been getting the notices of all the school information that's coming out about going back next year?
Yes.
Misty, anything new in Louisiana?
Well, I know that now I'm in third grade departmentalized, so I did get a message or whole school that I teach 2 classes, so they will not be able to come to me. I'm gonna go to them, so they're gonna buy me a cart. So I'm gonna, move along my stuff. My friend said some schools do that in other states, so the bad thing is, like, my library books, like, how am I gonna bring those? I'm just gonna bring a few library books to their class because the math teacher's gonna come teach my kids in my classroom. So far, that's what I'll know. Julie probably knows a little bit more about Louisiana and what I know.
I looked at a thing that they put out with some of their current recommendations. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of the same thing we've been hearing, basically. I'm departmentalized too. I have no idea what the heck that's going to look like. I mean, I'm supposed to be teaching 2 different grades with, one section of each with myself and my coworker. Now, we were told yesterday that a small committee, basically one teacher from each, they kind of split the school up, and one teacher from each group is supposed to be going to a meeting on like Tuesday of next week to kind of start discussing how are we going to handle all of this. But if Louisiana doesn't get their act together and we don't get out of phase 2, I don't see that anything like that happening.
Yeah. Our here in Texas, well, first of all, the long-awaited, I should say, document from TEA with regard to how they were going to be funding attendance, because I don't know how it works in other states, but school funding comes from butts in the seats. So if their little hiney is not in the seat, the school doesn't get money for them being there. And I know that a lot of schools here in Texas were not putting out anything for what they were going to be doing next year, because in March, basically there were some things that were given some waivers that were given so that they could get funding regardless of taking attendance, because there was no way to really take attendance. And so there were some waivers, and there's some federal money, I believe, that states got to help with that. And there was it was relief money, and there was nobody knew whether or not this was going to happen again. And so I know for the state of Texas, they were really holding off on whether or not what they were going to do until TEA put out guidance for with regard to attendance. I read through the document. I will say I was very surprised. A lot of people read certain pieces and immediately jumped to, oh, they're not going to fund it, the no virtual learning for K2. And I was like, that's not what it said. It actually said that schools K2, there were two different models that they could do. And I think a lot of states are going to be following suit, because, but there were two different models they could use. They could either use the model of simultaneous virtual learning, meaning the kids would be following the same schedule that they normally would on campus with virtual learning with their teachers, basically. So they would move from teacher to teacher and follow the same schedule. Or they could do an asynchronous, that's what it called, synchronous. And
I knew that's, because I'm doing with the district right now, they call it synchronous and asynchronous.
Yes. And the asynchronous learning means basically they're given assignments and they have to complete them by a certain point in the week. And then attendance is taken. Obviously, if they're doing a synchronous schedule, they're going to be taken, obviously, if they're there at the beginning of the class period because the teacher's actually teaching. Or if they do, then they are I think they have to check in or something, that the teacher has to look and see that they did something that day to be counted present. But the thing about it is what most people were looking at it and seeing, well, there's no virtual learning for K2. It's not what it said. It said that you could not do synchronous learning for K2. Meaning you could not force these kindergarten babies, these first grade kids, these second grade kids to sit on a computer for 6 hours throughout the day. I actually agree with. I was like, that's good.
Well, I know our district, the reason why I'm on this team is I'm preparing formative tasks virtually. So they're already ready for, I think we're going to maybe give a choice. If the parents don't want to bring their kids, that we're going to offer the virtual lessons. And then the parents are like, let's bring them to school. We're going to have that as well. So I think they're going to have an option. Each district's going to get to choose.
Yeah.
In our state.
Well, I think it is left up to the districts here as well, whether they want to do the synchronous or the asynchronous. But, the bottom line is as this stuff's, I think that was something that schools were waiting to see. And I think as other states, Hillary is saying it's looking like schools will be switching to self-contained. No news this week in Minnesota. I think that's Minnesota. Listen to me in my geography lesson here. I think that's Minnesota.
I'm not strong with geography either. I'll tell you that.
Right? But I think what we need to basically resolve ourselves to the fact that we are going to have to do some form of virtual learning this year. Whether it be you are teaching some students who have their butts in the seats while others are watching a video of you teach from home. You are using complete distance learning. Texas the governor just shut things down again. So I don't know if y'all saw that, but
what phase are y'all two?
They're in 2.
Okay,
we're in 2. Yeah. We're kind of the same thing here. We're staying in phase 2 for another month.
Well, they haven't received results from my daughter yet, and I did it last week, the test. It's
still
taking that long. Taking that long, 5 to 7 days.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, mine only took like 2 or 3.
There's so many cases that there's no more rapid tests available, or in our city because it's so big, but smaller cities, anyway.
Most of the state here in Texas has mandatory, like it is the law now. You have to have a mask on when you're in public.
Really?
It is a serious deal. It's something listen, from the very beginning when they started opening things up, I mean, whether you like it or not, I was like, got going back to school. Y'all remember I kept saying this back in April. I was like, I don't think we're going back to school. So if we don't get this debt under control, then this next guy that we've got on the show tonight is going to be our best friend, and everybody's going to be blowing his email up. Let's go ahead and get him on here. Mr. Chad Brinkley is joining us.
Okay. Y'all ready to have school?
Yes, credit.
Let's have school that way. Yeah, okay.
We got
Oh, I can get on too.
All right. Now, I'll tell you what, pretty crazy, isn't it? Hey,
No kidding.
this is the reality. I think you're absolutely right. If we have school at all, this was good. This or some, Misty was saying earlier, she's gonna wear a shield. This is gonna be our option, or we're gonna be at the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
In Arkansas, where I do most of my work. Hey, by the way, good to see everybody. Glad, thank you for having me here. That's so precious. Now back to what I was saying. In Arkansas, they keep saying we're going back to school August 13th. We're going to have face-to-face instruction August 13th, and we don't know what that's going to. I mean, there's going to be adjustments. There's going to be things done there, but that's what it is. And what we're doing in Arkansas also is they've basically said you need to provide we encourage face-to-face, but you will also be able to choose a virtual solution if you want to stay home.
Yes.
That way, and I will say this, and this is especially, this is something that I've been giving this a lot of thought, because I've not seen an issue in school that will impact people's decision on school since integration, really. When people were so divided about what their personal belief was, based on what I know, what I believe, what I think is the truth, because if we say everybody's going to wear a mask, there's going to be a group of people who say you're not going to make my kid wear a mask. That's our freedom. Da 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 da. And then if you say, okay, we're not going to make them and it's optional, then there's going to be people say, my kid's not going up there if nobody's wearing masks. So we're just just like everything else, we're divided in this. And so so this is, like I said, this is the first time in a really long time that education and school and how we have to react and what we have to be prepared for has been impacted by people's opinions and by people's beliefs. And I'm not saying, I don't, whatever your jam is, I'm good with that. But I've got to figure out how to get new content delivered to your kids, whether they're here or whether they're at home. And so that's what I've been working on. I'm telling you. And the other thing I will say real fast is I experienced this last week how fragile things can be and how quickly things can change. I was doing some training in a district. By the way, like you said, my phone is blowing up. All these districts who've not done one-to-one, who've not had a plan, who've never done anything before, they're going, whoa, what do we do? Mm-hmm. So now they're calling me. They're like, hey, can you come make us like you in 2 days? I'm like, we've been doing this for 5 years. I'm rolling out 800 new iPads this summer. And this is our third set of iPads since we've been one-to-one. That's how many, we've been doing this a minute. So it takes some time. You can't just say, okay, we're digital and we're going to do this. So anyway, I was doing some training last Monday, and it was supposed to be a 2-day thing. At the end of day one, I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do day two. And the assistant principal's like, come here a second. I walk over. He's like, there's not going to be a day two. We've got a couple positive cases in our district. And I was like, are they here right now? I mean, like, okay. We can't, we postponed whatever. Next day, everything's cool. Wednesday, I kind of stayed at home just in case. you know, because I was kind of waiting to see how things shook out there. And then as it turns out, the principal that I was working with that day, he tested positive on Wednesday. So I'm going, all right. So I was able to get a rapid result test on Thursday, and I found I was negative. So, and the doctor had he felt very, very strongly that it was a good negative.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you need to lay low for a few days just to make sure you don't get any symptoms and you can go back to work. Well, anyway, since then, there's like 7 in their district, 4 or 5 administrators.
Oh.
2 are in the hospital.
Oh.
So what I'm saying is just that quick.
Yeah.
This thing is that fragile. And it's not going to take a lot of not knowing that anybody's, you know, in the situation. And I'm not a medical person. I don't know a whole lot. I'm pretty dumb, really. But what I know is that if we don't have a plan to pivot really fast, and to be able to make an adjustment, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah,
especially the non-techie people. Like, I know you go to these schools, but you know that when you train schools, there's half of them that are real techie and get it. And then some of them are like, how do you turn something on? So there's totally, it's so hard to train. I train at tech camps and at conferences, and it's so difficult because they're all at another, every level.
Yeah.
Right. And what I have to do, what I've started doing now is, okay, who's really good at this?
Yeah.
Who's really bad at this? Now we'll go sit by each other.
Yeah, partner them up.
You go sit by her because if we're gonna get anywhere today, right. I need you to come back a little bit, and I need you to come up a little bit, and we've got to get something. And that's what that's really the essence of what I'm focused on. Right when this started in April, in March comes around and April comes around, and we realized we're not going back to school. We started having discussions about what are we going to have to do. What are we going to have to do based on the idea that we may be at home, and we're going to have to deliver new content? That's the big deal. The last part of the spring, it was let's stop the slide, right? Let's try to keep them from sliding for 4 months instead of just the regular 6 or 8 weeks, right? So it was like, okay, but all the kids and the moms and dads, they found out, oh, well, these grades don't really count. Yeah. Some people turned it all in. Some people were like, this doesn't matter, whatever. Yep. But now we got a good little test run. But now we're talking about we're on our pacing guide. We got to start here and we got to get to there.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a whole new challenge.
Yeah, and the thing about it is exactly what you said, that this is last year when COVID happened, and it's all this started. It was like fourth quarter. We've got 2 minutes left in the game, and we're, it's like, okay, we're just trying to tie the game at this point.
Right. We're trying to say that we did.
Championship. Yeah, we're going into the state championship game 1 of next year, and we've got to hit the ground running. And I think that's one of the things that I know for my state, when looking at things, is like we were talking earlier, parents are going to have the option of to whether or not you were talking about the differences and what you can agree or disagree, whatever. But parents have the option of whether or not they want their child to attend in person. And if they choose they don't want their child to attend in person, the school is required to provide distance learning for them. So right. I know that schools are having to put together plans and choose if they're going to do synchronous or asynchronous. But the fact of the matter is, because parents actually kind of have the control in all of this, they're going to be providing both, whether they like it or not. Right. And if they want their funding, they're going to have to figure out how to do this. And so knowing teachers who don't like tech and we talked about, it was not that long ago that we did there was a live that I got suckered into and on over on the Tech With Us, where we said it. How many schools are going to be 1-to-1 when all this is over with? How many?
Apparently we are now.
I
haven't seen them.
We're going to see some Monday when we can.
My district
Well.
is huge, so we thought we would never get there. But
Right.
from what we're hearing, apparently we're going 1-to-1.
They found some money.
CARES
Well,
Act.
How money can
Called
get
CARES
found.
Act.
And what you just said is one of the biggest things that's playing into all of this. Is we said we would never get that, and there's a whole bunch of teachers who said I'll never have to do that. I've got 5 years left, and I don't have to do tech because I'm going to just roll the last 5 years and play with it every once in a while. I'm not going to have to.
I know.
You know, and there's a whole. I mean, so the deal is there's a lot of things that we said we're never going to have to do, and we probably won't ever do. That we're just like, oh no, we're doing all that now.
Yep.
And,
Oh,
and
I'm
the good thing about that is that and the thing that encourages me is all of the teachers I've talked to, starting about May in Arkansas, it was March the 13th. They started doing a self-assessment right off the bat, going, I need to get better at this. I need to work harder at this. I ignored that. I slept through that. I played Candy Crush through that one, and I was texting my mom through the other one. And
Technology, Candy Crush is technology.
that's right. And they use it in all my training.
What's your
So
mind?
what I'm saying is all those things are coming back to them, and they're just like, I should, I'm gonna have to get on that. And so that's given the people like me a whole lot of kind of leverage. It's not really leverage, but a whole lot of it's exciting because now that my door is flooded. There's people in here like, okay, show me how to do this. So there's a real urgency. And my thing is, and you want to, and I didn't know what you put that up there.
Oh, I was just gonna. We just share comments through the show. I was saying this is something that I've heard too. That I have been on the lookout. I have been watching districts in Texas, the hiring to see if they're going to start hiring teachers that are just going to be virtual teachers, because I could do that. And if that was something that popped up to where, hey, you just need a teacher that can teach virtually. Hey, I'm your girl. I can do that. And so I've been looking
in Arizona too. That's talk out here too.
I've been watching that.
That online teacher gig that you've got is looking better and better and better to a whole bunch of people right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because, and Misty, I don't know if you're still getting emails, but since I'm still contracted with VIP Kid, I haven't taught classes for a while. I'm still contracted and I can, but even the VIP Kid community is seeing some problems because so many of the kids over in China, they're still having issues, and so many of them relied on going out in public for their internet. And they can't go out in public to get internet. So
they would be at restaurants.
Yeah, I taught a kid on the side of a mountain. I kid you not.
Oh man, that's
cool. Side of a mountain.
I did. Go out public to get internet, so there would be a restaurant.
Somebody.
I don't know what that is. It's Chad. You know it.
But I know, like for that, if these districts are already thinking right now, like for my district, they just got our group together this month, and so I'm already making the task, all of the formative tasks digital right now. So they're already ready. So as soon as, I'm sure the other districts are doing the same thing as well, getting a team together to create, because these teachers are gonna be like, well, how do I make a test, or how am I gonna give grades online? So I know Chad's going to give us some more information on that.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Now, Tina, I'm not currently in the classroom. I actually left the classroom 2 years ago officially. But I live wherever my wheels take me, to be honest with you. I travel full time now, but I spent 20 years in the classroom. Most of that was in Lubbock. And then I did a year in Houston and a year in Dallas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So before I said bye-bye. And honestly, I feel, there was part of me last year that was like, I'm so glad I'm not having to do this. But then this year, I've had many a conversation with my husband about the fact that if I could find a district that just needed a virtual teacher, I would so do it because it's one of those things that, to me, having taught online, because I've taught with VIP Kid the past 3 years, and having taught online, it's such a different experience, but it's so fun. And Chad, I think that was one of the things that we're going to get into. You've got a document. I'm going to put this up on the everybody could the document that Chad is going to be referencing tonight. You can go to this web address, and you, Misty, or one of you, can you put it into the chat as well so they can click it. You can go here and you can download the PDF he's going to be talking about. But I think that that's a key component that you're going to talk about tonight too. One of those keys is making it fun. You've got to learn how to make learning fun through virtual, and it does take a little bit of acting skills. So let's go ahead and let Chad just kind of get started on this, and I'm going to be creating these points as we go through so we can put those up. So Chad, just what do we need to know going forward that's going to help us? Because let's just assume we're going to be teaching virtually.
Okay, well, yeah, and like we've said, the ebb and flow. I may be teaching half and half this week, and I may be teaching everybody at home next week. So what I sat down and looked at and had a few conversations back when all this started is, okay, and like Misty was saying earlier, there are a lot of teachers who are phenomenal. Like in our group, in the Tech Thus community, you've got people going, here, you can do this. You can make Google Slides launch missiles that you don't even own and make it. And here's a rubric for it, and you can assign point. And I'm just going, that's pretty impressive. But the majority of everyone is saying, okay, those people are nuts. What about me? I'm just trying to get started, and I just need to survive. I need to be functional virtually, right? So what I did is I broke it down to 4 things. First, we have to be able to create engaging instructional videos. Okay, Farrah, I'm not going to put my thing up. That's too much. I mean, I was wanting to dazzle you with my very animated keynote, but it's all good. I'll just use these.
I've got your key points on banners. We're good.
Okay, cool. So here we go. So create engaging instructional videos. So that means, like Farrah said, you've got to be able to get on camera and deliver your instruction. But this is the first thing that I have to remind everybody of. If a school year in Arkansas, the school year is 178 days. Okay. The first thing that everybody said when it came to videos is, I'm going to have to do 178 videos. No, you're not. How many how much new content do you deliver in a school year? You do not do new content, a new lesson every single day. You might introduce 2 new things a week.
Yep.
If you really think about it, you start something. The next day will be practice and application and digging into that, review, and then you might add on to that a little bit, and then the rest is assessment and application, right? So let's just break it down to where I only have to do 85 videos, really, and the rest of my assignments could be have my face on them or not, right? So you can do it that way. You can record it, yourself in front of the screen. So at the very beginning, everyone was like, "This is too much. This is insane." Doing it for the kids at home is exactly like doing it at school, except you're going to push a button. There's going to be a button push, and you're going to record it. That's the way you need to think about doing it. And whenever I talk to teachers about that, they go, "Oh, so I could do what I normally do." Yes.
Yes.
We're just gonna hit the record button, right? So another tip that I would give you is don't make a 20-minute video. If you've got 20 minutes of stuff to cover, do 4 or 5-minute videos and break it up into smaller chunks, because first of all, nobody's gonna sit through it, and the point of having the video is that the kid can watch it over and over again with their parents or whatever. And if I need to just get the second part, I don't want to try to scroll through and find that mark in the 20-minute video where you talked about that one thing. If it's broken up into smaller chunks, I can just go back and get the part that I did.
You know, that you make such a good point, because I can tell you with the virtual lessons that I've taught over the last 3 years, they are 25-minute blocks, and we teach according to a set of slides, and there's typically anywhere from 10 to 15 slides. That really, of that 25 minutes, is only about 7 to 8 minutes worth of instruction. The rest of the time is spent listening and talking to the student. Rewards, because we have to reward them and correct and so forth. So when you're thinking about recording videos that your students are going to watch, what Chad just said about keep them short, 5 to 7 minutes. That's all you really need in order to teach the lesson. Now, if you're going to be doing an in-person class, okay, maybe it's going to be 25 to 30 minutes because you've got other things going on.
He's talking with you,
but don't think you have to record these long videos. And I'm going to add, creating engaging instructional videos. Chad, look, guys, listen, he's got boxes behind him.
I know, it's so beautiful. I would love to.
I think this is fabulous, because I'm like, we see it all over. Now, if that's just who you are and you want to go all out creating the whole backdrop and all that stuff, do you. If that makes you feel comfortable, if that's what you want to do. But please do not think that you have to do that. A blank wall behind you is best.
Robin said, and I'm the same with Robin, and I agree with her. She would like at least go to school. I know some teachers have kids, but if you maybe once in a while you can go to your classroom, and I can pull up my Promethean board and interact with video myself. Hopefully that'll be available too if we have to stay home.
And I will tell you this, and I'm gonna. I'd never thought that I would say this, because I've made videos 1,000 different ways. A lot of teachers don't want to be on camera, so they may use something like Explain Everything, and you could do that on Chrome. You could do that on iPad. I mean, I'm an iPad guy. You know that. I've just got about 4 sitting here right now. These are brand new ones. I'm pumped about the way this is going to work out. But Explain Everything, you could do it in. I mean, you could do Screencast-O-Matic, Screencastify. I mean, all that Chrome stuff. If you're Apple, you could record right off your MacBook. You could record right off your iPad. You can do screen recording on your iPad, where you can, every single move that you make, it records it all in your voice. So making the video is not hard. How do you teach in your classroom? That's what you need to do, because you don't need to be outside your comfort level. You don't need to try to read. The thing is, teachers are awesome, or they wouldn't still be working, right? I mean, if you were not a good teacher, you probably wouldn't have a job. So my deal is, be your awesome self. Just do it this way. Just push the button when you do it. And the easiest, I'm going to give you an app tip here that I've discovered, and I've been working with a couple other guys. The best way right now to record a video and manage it is with Google Meet. Okay. So if you're a Google school, which almost everybody is,
or Microsoft,
except for Misty. So sorry. But you could create your own Google account. You could do your own Google account and record these videos this way, okay? Because here's what I'm about to say. The great thing about recording a video in Google Meet, and this will go over into my live meeting point in a minute. But if I hit record with nobody else in the meeting, I can talk, I can share my screen, I can do whatever I want to do, and it's just me looking into the camera, and I'm the only one in the meeting, right? Google is about to add a whiteboard to Google Meet. They're about to add some other features to that. So now then I can record all of that, and I can just do it right on here. And the beautiful thing is, this is what all my teachers have gone nuts about when I've shown them this, is whenever I'm done recording, it automatically saves that video to a folder in my Google Drive. I don't have to save it. I don't have to upload it. I don't have to share. I don't have to do anything. Whenever I stop recording, it creates a folder in my Google Drive that says Meet Recordings. And then it sends you an email and goes, oh, here's the link to the video you just made. and then you can put that right in your LMS and share that out and send that to whoever you
And
want to
it's
do.
just like, is it just the date is what's the name of the file or whatever, so it'll be easy to
Yeah,
find.
it'll come up, and then you can just hop in your Google Drive and rename it and organize it that way.
Send it on. We can't send on a remind. I'm just trying to think.
But it's done. It's absolutely done at that point. Now, the problem with recording any other way, I mean, I love recording on my iPad or on my MacBook, but then I have to save that file, upload that to Google Drive or wherever I'm going to do it, and then share that link, whatever. This gives me the link. I don't have to do any of that work. It's one app, one button pushed. So Google Meet is going to be my go-to for that for sure. And the other part of that is, and I am going to, well, I'm not going to do it. But for people who use Google Classroom, I'm going to transition, okay? Here's my transition, big transition from creating engaging videos. You're going to have to be able to host live online meetings, okay? You're going to, I mean, there's going to be, at some point, whether you're doing live synchronous instruction or whether you're doing just a check-in with your kids or just office hours. Like one of the things that we've been talking about is every Tuesday at 2:00, I'm going to have office hours from 2 to 4. And you can hop in there and ask me questions and we can talk about stuff. We can just visit. We can just have that time together. Well, in Google Meet, if a lot of people use Google Classroom, a lot of people use Canvas, other things, but it would be worth setting up a Google Classroom on the side just for this feature. You set up a Google Classroom up at the top, it will give you a Google Meet link. And that is static. That, right? Isn't static the same all the time? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So what it does is it gives you that link, and that's the link for your class's Google Meet for the rest of the year.
That's right. That's right.
So whenever I want to have a meeting with my class, I just go, well, just click the link on your iPad, you pull up your Google Classroom, click the link. I'll be in there, you be in there, and I don't have to send links to everybody. I don't have to worry if you got the wrong one. I don't have to do any of that stuff. So it is just instantaneous. It's like, and if you have a kid email you and say, can I ask you a couple questions? You go, yeah, click the link. I'll be in there and we'll talk about it.
Yep.
Now,
So-
Google Meet, they were saying, is there adding editing on Google Meet? Megan was asking.
No, it's going to be like recording a Zoom. Now,
Yeah,
if
you're
you
gonna
really
get
wanted to pull it out and do some stuff with it,
yeah.
you can pull it out, you download it, put it in iMovie, put in whatever you
Edit from there.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could even break it. I mean, and you could take that video, put it into one of your editing apps if you feel strong enough doing that, and break it up into sections.
Yeah.
For shorter videos.
I love iMovie. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Rochelle,
having
do
that-
you have a question?
Well, are you going to also talk about like live lessons? Because I was a live lesson teacher fourth quarter, and it was from 9 to 10 Monday through Friday with my first graders, and they did great, but like come replay time with the kids that didn't come, like my 4 or 5 that weren't there, it's like, I don't know if they're going to watch the whole thing. Cause I mean, an hour is a lot for a kid to not be able to interact with anybody. It's just like, it's the replay. I just wanted to know where you stood on live lessons versus the videos, because I am preparing to probably be online, and I want to start strong. So it's either I'm going to start live or I want to start video and then do office hours. So,
well, what I would do is I would do a combination because I would love to do everything live, but now I just, if I'm at home, if we're all at home, we're stressed out about a lot of other stuff. It's we're trying to do school, but we're also trying to keep grandma safe. And we're trying to, we can't go to church. We can't go to the store. We can't go anywhere. I mean, so if that's the situation again, I got a lot to think about, and then try to get you on at a certain time I think that would be great
right.
to be able to have that as an option. I think the live is a great optional thing so that you can kind of relax your parents and relax your kids of, hey, we missed it today, but we'll catch it tomorrow, but I'll watch the replay. I honestly think that it's going to be a good combination. You know, whatever you feel comfortable with, and it may vary from class to class. There may be another teacher in your building that none of their kids have internet. So they're only going to be able to do the recordings, and you're going to go, well, all mine have it, so let's do it.
Well, and
You know,
that's kind of what it was. I had about 21 out of my 24 every day, but that my neighbor's class, first grade as well, she had like 11.
Yeah.
Come to hers every day.
Because the reason I'm not, and I haven't really worked a lot on the live, is because living in Arkansas, the connectivity is still the biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
If I knew every kid in my district had connectivity, man, I mean, we could have school like crazy. But the fact is, we're going to have them come to us at some point during the week to upload and offload. Upload all the work I've done this week and download the stuff I need for this week, and then come back next week. Because there's some people I can't expect them to come and sit in a parking lot somewhere for 3 hours every day, or expect them to come up there every day to upload and download. So what I'm kind of doing, I'm calling it trash day, right? So like everybody knows what trash day is. It's Thursday. I got to get all my stuff together, gather it all up, and get it out to the curb for Thursday morning, right? So we're going to look at our people that don't have access, that we're going to have one day when things are due and one thing when you can get new content. So if you will just give us 10 minutes a week, 10 minutes a week, and come to us and get your stuff downloaded and upload the work you've done, then we'll be able to keep rolling. And then those kids that do have internet, they can keep bumping all the time. But we can't expect those people in the situation we're in to make those adjustments. So that's what we're Rochelle, I would say based on your own circumstances, if you can do it live, do it. But if not, I mean, a good combination, at least with the option to join live, would be really, really great.
Right.
Well, I like the combination because what I found last year, fourth quarter, and it happened to me once, was everybody, because I'm in Arizona, so we're like last in the country to like get into school hours. So by the time mine started at 9, everybody's in the thick of school on the East Coast. So by the time I started getting my class online, we had the worst internet connection. So I kept freezing, and I had this like jank setup with my phone because I was on live on my MacBook, and then my iPhone was on like this like shelf thing that could see through, and that was my document camera. So I had 2 devices going at once. So if one froze, I had like the other as backup. But it was a lot to juggle, and then like the recording would sometimes only record me and not like my iPhone, and so it wasn't the best like to even rewatch. It's like you got the best when you were live, but that doesn't hit my whole class, and I need to hit all of them.
Especially this time because it's required now.
By doing videos, because they can watch the videos at their convenience. Like if they can't get on at 9, and, you know, once mom or dad is off work, they can kind of help you and find a place that they can go and find internet and watch those, you know, 7-minute videos and do their work. And if they have questions, if you open yourself up daily to like an office time, or my parents would just text me at whatever time and say, hey, they have a question, and I would hop on. Like as long as it was school hours, it was office hours for me. So I jumped on always. But I think that's how I hit so many kids, and they kept coming to me because I was always available during school hours because I was getting paid to be. So I was on from 7 to 4.
I think yeah, I don't want to miss Kim's question.
Right. Yeah. This is
She said she's talking about Google Meet. If the link is always live, so it's a static link, can the kids be in the room without you?
That's one of the things that's some of this release that they're about to upgrade to. They're going to work on the waiting room, all of those situations. That's one of the things that they're going to add to it, along with the whiteboard. They're going to add the ability. I mean, I can't remember what there was like 4 or 5 things. But they're going to make it so you can blur your background for privacy. Like so like you could make it a blurry background. You can have you can break up into small groups. You can break it up like kind of like you can in Zoom. And so you know, that's the other cool thing that we've seen from these tech companies is they've responded with their code and with their features and everything because they're in competition with each other, but they also know that we rely heavily on them for everything else. And so they're just adding, like, what Google is actually adding into Google Meet is their Jamboard. Google Jamboard is like a a collaborative whiteboard, and they're gonna integrate that into Google Meet. So, and a cool thing that you could also do that we've been working on is if I'm in a Google Meet and you're watching me like this, I can also join the Google Meet with my iPad and my pencil and share the screen from my iPad. And so now you can see me and you can see my iPad, and I'm writing on it and sharing and doing all my stuff while you can see both things happening at the same time.
So the students, this is the bad thing because we're not a Google district, they each would have their own Gmail, correct? For everybody, so we can kind of
if you were going to have them in the Meet with you, yes. Yeah. Now,
so what you're saying is I need an iPad and a pencil.
Here we go again, Rochelle.
I have a pencil.
I'm going to message that I need because I have an iPad, but it's not. I bought it. I ended up not getting the one with the pencil.
Michelle, here's an ad, okay? This iPad that we're about to deliver is, if you go buy it at Target, it's $329. Okay, you can go get this for $329, and you can buy the original. You can buy the original Apple Pencil.
Yeah, that's what I have
for $100 or less, and it will work right on here. Or, well, it's right over there. Or you can get a Logitech crayon for $60, for $50 or $60. That will write right on this, and you're set. You're in and out for under $400.
Okay, so Target iPad is $329.
Or you can get it from Apple. I think the retail price is $329, and for schools we get it for $299.
What about Amazon?
You're going to want the educational iPad. That's what you're going to want.
Educational iPad, entry level.
Yeah, the entry level.
You have to have a pro, but now you don't anymore.
No, and I will tell you, I'm fixing to rock your world again, because if you are tech savvy enough if you are a Mac user, then definitely look into a software called Ecamm. There is a free version as well that you can use. You don't have to have all of the, bells and whistles. As a teacher, I can tell you hands down, if I was teaching, one of the things I love, and now if you want to use this feature, you would need the paid version. But the thing I love about it is that I can use it as a virtual camera. I've done it in here before. What I can do is I can use my iPad as one of my screens. I can make me a picture-in-picture, like I'm floating, and it be transparent if I've got a green screen, and my iPad can be on a whiteboard app, like explain everything, and it's behind me, and I'm down in the corner, so anything I'm drawing on my iPad right in front of me is showing up on the big screen behind me. So it is Ecamm. It is for Mac only. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of things out there.
Yeah.
Don't think you have to, because bottom line, and I think Chad will agree with me, this right here, you and a piece of paper on the wall with some markers and your phone are all you really need.
That's right.
But if you want to get fancy,
well, I'm getting all these messages about iPads and pencils now.
Right, but here's what iPad or Mac. I don't know.
Here's what I can tell you, though. Is and what I'm really trying not to do with every school that I'm working with this summer is not get into you can do this and that, and you can hold this up, and you can stand on one foot, and then you can use your phone, and then all of a sudden, because I just lost everybody. Turn on your phone, teach. Turn on your phone to teach, and push the button and record it.
Stand in front of a window for light. That's all you need.
The reason I love Google Meet too is I don't have to, it's not going to record and take a bunch of space on my device with those videos. Like when you record a Zoom, it takes up massive amount of memory on your computer or whatever, because those files are big.
Yeah.
With this, it automatically goes to the cloud into Google Drive, and you can make it as long. So that Google Meet is for, you can use it for making videos and hosting online meetings. Now, this is what I want to get you guys riled up about. Okay.
I'm already.
There's four baseline skills that I'm teaching everybody: create engaging videos, host online meetings, deliver and receive digital assignments. A lot of us are down that road. That's Google Classroom, that's Canvas, that's Schoology, that's
Seesaw.
whatever your LMS is. Seesaw, absolutely. K6,
Yes.
actually K12. Seesaw is killing it. I mean, I'm doing a whole bunch of Seesaw stuff because the beautiful thing, and I will say this. Thank you, Farah. The beautiful thing about Seesaw is you've got an LMS with built-in content. If you're a teacher who is just getting started, if you using Google Classroom doesn't work if you don't have anything to put in Google Classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Using Canvas doesn't work unless you've got stuff in there already. Seesaw's got it all in there.
A whole library.
Oh yeah,
You could go for days. There's more than you want. There's more than you want to go through to find what you need.
Mm-hmm.
So Seesaw, absolutely. So I feel like the LMS part, the creating videos, the hosting a chat, once we go through those things right there, people start go, I feel pretty good about this. I think I could do this. I could hit the record button. But here's where it gets. Here's where it gets crazy. We have to deliver online assessments.
Yes.
How do we do that? Because that's not a reality we had in the spring. We didn't do online assessments. We may have had check-ins, turn it in, look at you. Oh, good, you did it. That's great. But we didn't say 100 points, do or die. Here we go. I mean, we didn't have any skin in the game. Now then, we're talking about so what is the number? Okay, tell me, Farrah. I know you got the answer. Okay.
Oh.
Listen up. Here we go.
What is the first issue teachers have with online assessment?
Cheating.
How do you get around cheating?
Yeah.
And the parents
Parents
help them.
giving the answers.
Yeah.
That would be in my school district.
That.
So it's not a valid assessment.
Exactly.
The answer number one is Apple. Pick it.
So,
what do you do about that? Because I'm like
okay.
stressed about that.
So here, that's what I'm about to tell you. Okay. First of all, you live with a little bit of it. First of all, you say I may need to kind of reevaluate what I think cheating is. Okay. And this is a quick example, and it may not be exactly the same. Some people agree, some people don't agree. But if I'm sitting over here at my desk and I'm sitting here and a teacher calls me and says, "Hey, I'm having an issue with my computer and I can't get it to this or that. Can you help me with that?" And I'll say, "Yes, give me 5 minutes." I call them back in 5 minutes with the answer. None of them, not one teacher ever has gone, "Now hold on, before you give me the answer, did you Google this? Did you already know the answer? Or did you Google this?"
Speaking my language, Chad.
Because if you Googled this, I don't want your help. It never happens.
We're going to church. We're going to church.
I say, "Hey, push this button. Oh, you fixed it. Thank you." Boop. There's no question. What we want to know is, did I get the information that I needed? Now, I'm not saying let everybody Google everything, but we might need to relax a little bit and understand that if I've just got a multiple choice thing, if I've just got a true false, if I just do my Edulastic, a lot of the online Google forms, I mean, those are great ways to do assessments. But if I've got to understand that a lot of people can help me with that. But if I'm writing, if I'm doing other things, and I go Google that information, if I did it, that means I took the step and I knew where to go find the information, and I found what it was. Now, it still could be wrong.
Like you researched it. Yeah. You
right.
took the time
So the key is, to me, What is it that we're trying to learn? Can they do this problem 10 times, or do they know how to do the problem?
Yeah.
Oh, and they
You know-
understand that they didn't, if you took an online class, because I remember I took like a history class or something online in college, and I can't honestly tell you that I did not once on a test open up another tab to search for that answer, because I can tell you,
Yeah.
yes, I have several times.
And then you still learn, Michelle.
I wouldn't have.
I
But
will
like, what
tell
do I
you.
do with first graders that have parents on the other side of the screen while they're taking a math test, and their parents are like,
Yeah.
8.
Right.
Well, I
Right.
can tell you this, and Chad, since we brought up Seesaw, this is one of the things that I love. And I spoke with several teachers last year that were reaching out, and they were like, we're not sure how to give our spelling test. We're not sure how to give our math test. We're not sure how to do it. And I said, here's what you do. You need to upload that. You need a Seesaw. And the thing I love about Seesaw is you can have a free account for Seesaw.
Yep.
Seesaw is free. Now, again, like anything, if you want a bunch of bells and whistles, then of course there's a layer that you can go up and get a paid account. But Seesaw is free.
Mhm.
Seesaw, if I was in the classroom and having to give assessments to my younger kids and so forth, what we're assessing is, can they do the process? So if I can give a math test where they basically get the worksheet and then they hit record and they basically
it.
write it and
Yep.
speak and tell me what they're doing while they're doing it. I don't care if mom and dad, if they can explain to me what they're doing, that's testing them. And if you can give us, I think we're going to, as teachers, we're going to, we're getting a test where we just very quickly go down and check ABCD. Did they get the answers right? We're going to really have to start stepping back and actually observing their behaviors and observing them actually doing something in order to give a test grade.
Well,
I
for
think
that,
it's going to happen.
I was saying that we were making, and Jessica is also on the team, making some digital assessments. So for fluency, we were talking about how do you assess for fluency? Well, I gave some options. You can record you reading the story on and upload to Seesaw or Flipgrid. There's a lot of different things, and that's them reading it to you. We're checking for fluency. So there's a lot. I love, yes, definitely Seesaw.
Flipgrid is so easy, and I had an argument with a teacher the other day. They're like, "Well, I have 120 kids throughout my day, and if I have to watch a minute and a half video on every single one of them, do you know how long it's going to take?" I was like, "How long does it take you? How long do you spend on a worksheet 120 times?
Yeah.
A minute and a half? Well, no. I mean, it's probably a little bit more than that." I was like, "Okay, I just saved you time just by watching the video."
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this has to be the way all the time.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is we have to, what we're going to have to do is think of ways that normally we would not assign points to or give credit to or use it as assessment, that now we're looking for, for that in a different way. And it could be a kid recording themselves reading their stuff. It could be them recording themselves writing. And what I would do is I would take, you could take, and at Seesaw, I've done this before, coloring sheet. In first grade, I was at a first grade meeting. They had a coloring sheet of whatever printed out on the table. I was like, "All right, where did you get that? Teachers pay teachers. All right, grab the file. Let's put it in Seesaw. Okay, now then, let's record some instructions. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to color it however you want to, da-da-da-da. Then, here's the writing prompt. Tell me why you colored it that, write a short thing." So now we've gone from just a coloring sheet to a virtual coloring sheet with instructions, with a writing prompt, and so I just did an assessment, because I can measure all of those things. Now, what we're going to have to do is come up with some different rubrics. We're going to have to figure out that when I'm grading a flip grid, what is it that I'm looking for in a flip grid? Right. What is it I'm looking for whenever I hear these things? And I know that it's not optimal, and I'm not saying we've got to throw out all of our things, but assessment is a philosophical issue. I mean, we're going to have a philosophical thought process and conversation about what assessment looks like.
Well, and exactly what you said, we're going to have to get away from that we spend our year teaching because our kids have a state test at the end of the year that they have to take. Or if they're not taking state tests yet, they're taking end of grade tests, because even kinder, first grade and second grade have those end of grade tests that we give them. And they're multiple choice, they're fill in the blank, blah, 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 blah. We're going to have to realize, we've been saying it for years, teachers hate those tests. Now's your chance to assess a different way and show that you can assess your students a different way.
That's
And
right.
you
I mean,
have 20 problems, like what you said, a rubric, maybe, just
well,
one definition for all those standards,
Yeah, and and the beautiful thing about Seesaw is, if I do a math problem or I work on a sentence and I'm working on pronouns and I'm trying to do whatever it is, and I make that video and I look at it, I can send it back to you and you can redo it.
Yes.
That assessment can continue. We can reassess on the same thing without having to create a whole new lesson. I can have that ebb and flow back and forth, and it's all in the same app. It's not crushing a bunch of apps together to try to get that stuff going. It's all built in. That's why Seesaw is like your best friend.
What about a question from Tina?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Can you use Seesaw in Google Classroom? So here's what I'm going to say about that. Just because I create for Google and for Seesaw, and I get asked this all the time. They're like, well, can I use the Seesaw activities? Google Classroom you need to think about Google Classroom as your own private little Facebook community, because you're having to actually publish. You're either having to create the assignment within Google Classroom or within Google Docs and then assign it, or you're assigning a link to something. So if you have Seesaw and you have all those activities that you have access to and all that, you can actually grab links to them and you can share a link inside Seesaw over in Google Classroom over to the Seesaw activity. The same goes for a platform like Boom Learning. You can grab a link, share the link in Google Classroom, and the students go and complete the activity. Now, just like anything, if you want to be able to grade something inside Google Classroom, you're going to have to set it up in Google Classroom in order to grade it and save the work for the student. So we are going to have people come on and talk about Seesaw and Google Classroom and individual platforms, because
so overwhelmed.
They are so and that's what we don't want you to get is
I want to do it, but I want to be efficient at it and not like go into it and then be overwhelmed, and then they're not going to get the best from me because I bit off more than I can chew.
You'll get it, Michelle. This summer you got time.
So I'm hearing iPad, Flipgrid, Ecamm app, Seesaw. I'm writing lots of keywords on like my.
Well, let me tell you something.
Conference notes.
This is my most important message. Okay, my most important thing about this, and I'm like, I could not be more serious about this. Every teacher needs to give yourself a break. Give yourself a chance to be awesome at this. And don't hold yourself to a standard that is unreasonable for you at this point. Be honest with yourself about where you are, and then make a small attempt to get a little bit, just like you would teaching a kid to read. You don't say, okay, you've got some, what is it called? You got your phonics. Now you can do some stuff. Now here's Tom Sawyer, read that. You don't do that. What you do is you go, where are you? Let's get you to the next reasonable step and the next reasonable step, and let's have reasonable expectations. And what I have told to several teachers is, if you have not been teaching this way, you have not failed at anything.
That's right.
I have had several teachers say, I just feel so bad. I feel like I've failed because I haven't been doing this. And I know other people have been doing it and I haven't. And no. You've been teaching your butt off and doing an amazing job every single day you show up. You have not failed because you haven't been doing this. What you're doing is getting started. and you just keep being the awesome teacher that you are and press the button. Press the button and get some help from somebody who has done it, and then make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And don't sell yourself short. You're a teacher because you're awesome and you can think on your feet and you can do all this stuff in a heartbeat because you've got instincts and all that stuff. This is just honing some new instincts, honing a new craft, and just an opportunity to get better. And here's the great thing, take away from it. Regardless of where you're at, regardless of how much better you're getting or what your plan is, if and when conventional school goes back to normal, you'll do this then too. You'll never go back. You will always keep doing it. You'll always hit the button. You'll always do it this way, because here's the thing. If you record all of your videos this year, if you're teaching kids in class and you push the button all year this year, next year you're ready for virtual learning because you recorded every lesson that you taught.
Yes.
That's so true.
Yes.
And you cloned yourself.
Yeah.
You did clone yourself. And what you're going to find is and I'll bring that document back up in a minute, but what you're going to find is on this, then dealing with students who are absent or dealing, I can tell you the last couple of years that I was teaching, and I did a flipped classroom where the class time was time for us to do, not me teach. They actually had videos that they were watching as homework, and then they came into the classroom and we actually put what they learned on the video and homework into practice. Were the best, because that's when they need our help. They need our help after the learning. And we put so much emphasis on us standing in front of the kids and teaching that we really need to focus on the doing. And once you've done this, and once you, like Chad said, once you hit that button, once you do it, you're going to be going, this is so easy. My teaching life just got so much easier. And guys, if you think technology is going away, no, not going away.
It's saved. I mean, it might be a lot of hard work right now, but like what Chad said, next year
it'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I've made a YouTube channel years ago. And I started putting little videos on there, mainly for my kids' parents, because they were like, I don't understand what they're supposed to be doing with this. I can't read what they've written. So I would do these little 10, 15-minute videos on this is how we can subtract numbers where we have to borrow. Here, parents, here's a link to it. You can go watch it as many times as you want. And with us being shut down at the end of the school year, it was kind of the stop the slide. We weren't really doing a lot of new. We were using IXL. Here's the set of skills I want you to go practice on IXL. They're skills we've done. You should know how to do it. But if you've forgotten how, here's a video on the YouTube channel where I am teaching you how to do this.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
I put out some new content that way to my kids. I'm like, we didn't do this in class, but look, go watch this video. It's literally shooting. I used my iPad and iMovie, and I didn't even put myself on the camera. I put it over the top of a sheet of paper. And sometimes they were worksheets that I printed off with pictures of clocks or types of angles or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I would go through and show, this is how you classify triangles by the angles. 6-minute video. The kids can go watch the video. Mm-hmm. They can go on IXL and digitally practice it.
Yes.
And they didn't have to have me live in front of the camera. They could do it whenever they wanted to, wherever they wanted to. Mm-hmm. If they needed help, they could watch it again. Their parents were there to help. And that's kind of how I handled.
Yeah,
really and those videos are there all the time.
Well, and Chad, anybody remember, does anybody remember a guy, Khan Academy, I think?
Yeah. That's kind of what I based mine off of.
Created.
It's me for my kids. I never thought about it reaching people all over the country, which over time it has. But
think about that. That is just so crazy. That's great you bring that up, right? So
you never got on camera.
When Khan Academy starts, it's like this this guy must have some sort of like this. He's like, he ought to have a Vegas show. This kind of skill and magic that he uses to make videos that people can learn from. And we got every person who works in a school is the same person.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to share this really quickly. We put the link again in the chat for you to go download this document that Chad shared with us. So Chad, he says, create engaging instructional videos. You're going to have to host those online meetings. You're going to have to deliver online assessment somehow and deliver and receive those digital assignments. Chad, those 4 things are the 4 things that you think we need to be focusing on going back to school.
That is the baseline. That is the minimum of what you need to be able to do to teach virtually. Now, if you want to be somebody crazy and you want to learn all kinds of cool stuff and do that, do it.
Yeah.
You've got time. We've still got time to do that. And I would encourage it. Pick one thing and do it.
Yeah.
Don't try to do Seesaw and about 7 other things because you're not going to be good at any of them.
Yeah.
Pick one thing, try a couple things out, pick one thing and get real good at that with these 4 things, and you'll amaze everybody that knows you. If you could do these 4 things, they're like, man, you got your own little Khan Academy going. You're like, well, I mean, those are just the baseline skills.
It's gonna be called Megan Academy, Joanna Academy, Robin Academy, Kim Academy, Miss Academy, Megan Academy. Oh, I think I said Megan already. Anyway, I'm going down through, and I do want to focus on this. I don't want you to think that we glossed over some questions back at the beginning. People were talking about relationships, and I get that, 80% of teaching is relationships and 20% is actual educational or academic. And it's probably off more than that. But there are other connect with your students. We saw that this past year with so many, drive-bys or teachers showing up and sitting in driveways 6 feet apart to meet with the students that we needed to meet with the most. So there are ways that if you need to connect with your students that you can do so. It's just going to have to be you getting creative so that you can meet with those students. And again, just because we're not meeting in person doesn't mean, and if you're recording lessons and sending them to your students, there's going to have to be at some point some meeting in person as well. So I think that I think the ones that are going to be interesting are going to be the kindergartners that start school this year. I think.
Think about this. This is going to be, and if you teach in early elementary or elementary at all, okay, this is something that you need to think about and be prepared for. I was talking to a teacher a couple weeks ago, and she's like, that last 9 weeks that we did this virtually went really, really smooth because it's the same thing we had been doing all year. It was the same procedures. They knew how I did it. They knew what we did. They knew how they had all of our procedures and stuff down. They were just doing it from home. What we're going to have to think about is I got a whole new class who I haven't had for 9 weeks. Or however, they don't have, they don't even know me.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be personal if we're even going to get started.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to think about that and look, this is the first little while is going to be explaining how the digital learning works. Okay, everybody, we're not going to do a big lesson today, but we're all going to make sure we can all do this. And we're going to make sure we do that because this is how we're going to do our spelling test. This is how we're going to do our reading assignment. This is how we're going to do that. And get everybody comfortable with that because that's something that I had taken for granted because if I've always been doing digital learning, doing it from home is not a whole lot different. But when I'm not even familiar with my teacher and I don't know what she expects and all that kind of stuff, that's going to be a real challenge for elementary.
Yeah.
So also the internet, a lot of people were saying how that's a big part. I know our district has buses, like Wi-Fi buses where they go. Or is your district, Chad, can they check out technology or you're not sure?
Well, no, I mean, everybody's got their iPad at home, K through 12. Everybody will have their device at home.
Wow,
so
okay.
That's a done deal. So
That's
the
awesome.
reason we love iPad too is because I'm not, and I know Chromebooks can do this as well, but I can do almost everything on my iPad without internet connection. So that's why our device is so important to us. And I have cameras and I have all this other stuff. So because I have apps and I have all the stuff that I can use to create at home. And then, like I said, what we're going to do is, we're going to try to put our assignments as much as we can on the website. So if the only limited service I have is I can look at it online, I can look at the assignment on the website of school on my mom's phone. I can still do all the work on my iPad, right? And then what we're going to do is have one day a week where they come and give us all that work that they created, and then they're going to take download all my new. Just let their Google Classroom or their Canvas or Seesaw, let all of that sync while they're at school for that 10 minutes, and then go back, and then you don't have to come back to us again for another week.
Yep.
That's the most. I mean, but what we can't just do I'm going to go halfway and you need to come the other halfway. We're going to go 90% of the way and just ask them to come the last 10% because you all have heard it. It's all over Facebook. It's all over everywhere. I don't want to have to be my kid's teacher. I can't teach my kids. And what we're saying is, right. We don't want you teaching them either.
We don't want you teaching them either.
No, stop. Step away. Step away from the pencil. You don't know what a base 10 is, and don't even care. And wouldn't know if I explained it to you how to do a base 10.
You know how many students came back to school carrying a 1?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
right. That's right. So the deal is, what we need to give the parents as a comfort is, look, we're going to teach them. We're going to do what we do, and we're all professionals, and we're awesome, and we don't like this situation. We don't like it to be this way. But you can best bet that I'm going to give every minute of my time that I normally give to your kids in the same way. It's just going to look a little different. If you will come to the bus, if you will come to the deal on trash day, I mean, and I just call it trash day because that everybody at every house has a trash day, and it's on the schedule and it's on the calendar, and I know that that's what it's going to be. So it may be a Wednesday, it may be a Monday, it may be a Friday, whatever works for each district, whatever. But that way, and the other thing is, I want that to be the same day K-12. Because if I'm a family that's got a kid in 4th grade and a kid in 8th grade,
Yep.
I don't need to be making 4 trips up there every week because I got kids in different grade levels. This is a district decision. We're all going to do it on the same day of the week because, again, people don't have time with all the other stuff they're dealing with to be running up to the school or to the buses every 5 minutes.
Right.
And we have to be sensitive to that. We have to respect that. And that goes for our people who choose to be virtual while we've got live instruction going on too.
That's right.
I mean, that's their choice. That's the decision they've made. And we need to say, okay, we respect that. And we want you to be safe and feel safe. We need you to come to us. We need you to come to us, and we will respect that, and we will give you what you need. So that's a big part of it. And just let them have that confidence that we're going to do our job.
I think as teachers, and I want to be right there with y'all. I want to be right there with y'all. But I think as teachers, we all have an opportunity this coming school year. We all have an opportunity to step up, which I know we all will. Everybody's going to step up because we work miracles every single day in our classrooms. And I think we have an opportunity to show exactly what we can do and how well we can do it. And, I think there could be some changes come out of this with regard to no longer are we going to be just babysitters in a classroom. Or that be the perception, because
there can be some changes. There will be.
There will be.
Our classrooms,
that's right.
100% are not going to look the same after this.
Ever. That's done. That is a time to pass.
Yeah.
And here's something else too to be thinking about is we're also learning a lot about the learning styles and what the strengths of our students are. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this high school where my two daughters attend, both of them are great students or whatever. They're going to give us the option to be present or virtual. One of them's coming and one of them's staying at home. And it's not so much about the COVID and the fear of that. It's my youngest said, my mental health has not been this good in a long time because I'm able to just do schoolwork. I'm just able to study. My daughter, she wants to be a heart surgeon. She's 14. She knows what she wants to do. She doesn't have time for all the shenanigans that are going on up here. She wants to learn. And she's like, man, I wish I could do this all the time. And as her dad, I'm like, well, maybe you should. Maybe you should, because now my other one, she needs to be up here in the circus and playing all the reindeer games with everybody, mean girls, nice girls, and all that. I mean, she needs that roller coaster. But hopefully all of our parents said, I've learned a lot about my kid and the way they learn. And if my district will continue to provide this virtual option, we'll take it. We don't want to go homeschool. We don't want to take that money. We don't want to take that money from your district. Because we want to support our local school. So we don't want to take that and be responsible for it or whatever. But if you'll continue to provide this virtual option, we will be a part of your school. We'll wear your shirts, come to your football games. But if you could just let us be at home and do our lessons, that would be fantastic.
I tell you, class sizes too.
I tell you, people complain all the time about kids who are pulled out and homeschooled and especially public schools, because that's taking money away from the public, because that child is not in our public school system. Yeah. But if we are offering, the ability to do public school online virtual lessons, and it not and at your local school, not K-12 online or whatever, at your local school.
The people that you go to church with, the people that the people you see at the grocery store, and if push came to shove and you really need some one-on-one tutoring, you could make an appointment with, and you could come. You might go to their house, or you might just meet them up here at school. I mean, what we're doing is, if we'll push the record button, we have virtual school to offer to those people.
We do.
If we'll spend this year thinking about the future and what we might be, we're going to prove it to ourselves that we can do it.
Absolutely.
And then all we're going to be doing, if we don't continue to do it, we're just making excuses and not giving ourselves credit for what we did. That's the way I see it. And it's okay for all of this to change. People are a bit scared about digital learning because, well, what about the teachers? You got these iPads. Now, what do the teachers do? Well, the teachers do all the work. These are tools that the teachers use, right? We've got to have teachers are not going anyway anytime soon. And parents have realized that for real right now.
Yeah. If they didn't before, they do now.
They know now.
Yeah, that's right. And so
I think it was Robin was like, we shouldn't be having to use these makeshift setups. Robin, I'm telling you, contact a few of your parents of some of your most challenging students. They'll buy you an iPad. I'm just saying.
Well, and what I'm hoping is these administrators who, money is our bottom line, and we do have lots of budget. I mean, all education is underfunded, period.
Yeah.
I don't care what state you're in. I don't care I don't care where you're at. You don't have enough money to run school the way it should be done, period. But what we're going to be able to do is figure out how we might not lose those homeschool kids if we have this digital option. We might actually attract people to our district because we have a digital option, a public digital option in their hometown with people they know. Because I live in the woods, okay? And people in the woods like to talk to and take school from other people in the woods. I mean, right? I mean, those kids in Louisiana don't. I mean, No, I mean, and a kid who's in Illinois doesn't want. I mean, they would Misty's accent. A kid in Michigan, you go, what is this? I can't even understand her. Right? And vice versa.
Uh-huh.
You're right.
And vice versa.
Uh-huh.
The kid in Louisiana, this Michigan, they're talking of, whatever. It's just if I could be local,
Yep.
then I can do this and we all win.
Yeah.
We're all still that community. We're all still that closeness, and we're all still, and I just think we're going to have a lot of opportunities if we'll take them, if we'll seize the moment, if we'll seize the day and go, man, we just learned a lot about what we could do and we didn't realize we could do it. Now let's just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Guys, we could talk all night about this.
Oh, wow.
Chad, thank you so much for coming and sharing all this with us.
Hey.
Don't think we won't get Chad back on here.
I was about to say, we're going to wait. I do some videos. We're going to have him back.
We're going to get him back. Go ahead.
I really, really miss you guys. I mean, back in the day, our show, we used to have a show that came on right after your show.
Yep.
Those were the greatest days. I miss having this community. I miss this time that we spend together because it is enriching. It is encouraging. It is invigorating to have people that bob their head with you when you say stuff. I mean, like, you gotta have that.
We all on the
You gotta have that. I mean, when I'm preaching, I need some amens and somebody bobbing their head, And so the thing is, I appreciate it, and if anybody who's watching or whatever, if you have any questions, if you need some help, you've heard anything, I'm more than happy to hop on a Google Meet with you, or we can do some email back and forth. I'm happy to help anybody. And if your school, I mean, I'm just plugging, if your school needs somebody to come and do a pep rally, get people fired up about doing what I do, it doesn't matter what you guys use. I'll come and we'll get it fired up, and I will speak not to the best people at Tech. I'll speak to everybody who's trying to do a little bit better than they were. That's my whole thing. Just get in the pool. You don't sit on the side of the pool. Just get in.
Yep.
So thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You gotta jump in, right? You gotta jump in head first.
That's right.
Jump in.
That's right.
Jump in.
Right. Even if you need floaties, you gotta be in the pool.
Yeah, we'll give you floaties. I love it.
Blow up your floaties and get in the pool.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. The best way that you can help support us is by sharing this out on your social media, tagging your teacher friends every Thursday night at 8 p.m. There are normally 5 of us. Carlonda will be back next week, and we are going to continue our hashtag summer tech with Blab. I can't remember the hashtag. Listen, I'm so bad at this. We're going to continue next week. We have got several people that we've got coming on to talk about boom cards, to talk about Seesaw, to talk about STEM and STEAM. Oh, I'm so excited about what we've got planned for this summer. So make sure you share this out on your social media, tag your friends, and more than anything, keep being educational rock stars, and we will catch you on the flip side. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.